Hello, good morning everyone. So our topic for today is about school and community resources in case of injury or emergency. So the objective of our lesson is that we'll be able to identify the school and community resources in case of an injury or emergency. So yun yung objective natin. But first, ano nga ba yung mga emergency situations? Okay, so when we say emergency, it is a serious and unexpected, which is often dangerous situation that requires an immediate action. Okay, so facing an emergency or being injured at school, okay, or in the community can be scary. As usual, the reaction of people involved in the accident would be either in panic or in a state of shock. So ideally, okay, a community must have an infrastructure available to deal with injuries or emergencies. So ano yung mga yon? We can have a hospital or a clinic which is usually accessible, okay, in the community or in other places. Meron tayong tinatawag na rural health unit which is also available. So, ito yung mga emergency situation natin. So, as you can see, there is a person injured. There is also a fire. Okay? And this one, it seems like it is a person who is unconscious or maybe na-aksidente. Okay? So, ano pa? So, how do you deal with emergency situation in the school and community? Okay? So, ano pa yung mga nakikita nyo dito? But that question, okay, I will ask that again to you later. Okay? So, ano pa yung mga mapapansin niyo dito sa picture? So, as you can see, merong mga earthquake, there is fire. Okay? Yun yung mga, yun yung mga usually emergency situation natin. Earthquake, fire, injury, attack, okay, slip and fall, or sports accidents. And what should you do when injuries and emergency situation happen? Or did anything happen emergency na? Nasubukan niyo na ba that you are in a state of emergency? And what did you do during those times? Okay? Now, what do you think are the available school or community resources for emergency and medical issues? So, we have here, we have the first aid kit, we have the school clinic, and the fire extinguisher. So, yun yung mga available resources natin. So, when we say first aid kit, alam niyo naman na kung ano yung mga nilalaman ng mga first aid kit natin because every year, we are obliged to have our own personal first aid kit. Diba? So, it is a collection of supplies and equipment that is used to give a medical treatment. Usually, that medical treatment is yung mga, ano ba yung mga laman nun? Diba? Meron tayong mga betadine, meron tayong mga cotton, paracetamol, and so on. Okay? And then, we also have the school clinic, okay? Which is usually staffed by a nurse who can provide basic care. So, ano yung mga basic care na yon? Okay? So, sa school natin, the nurse, okay, provide health education to students. Ano pa? Since our school is, kumbaga, the nurse is not always there since she is handling many schools, okay? But, of course, ano ba yung mga ginagawa just in case the nurse is there? Of course, giving care to those injured. And if there is a situation wherein it needs help, like kapag may mga illnesses, okay? May mga nagkaroon ng asthma attack sa students. So, who will provide care? Of course, it is the nurse, right? So, ito pa yung mga available community resources natin in the community. We have the Barangay Health Emergency Response Team. Okay, this team, sila sa ngayon, okay, sila yung unang tinatawag or nag-monitor ng mga may COVID. Okay? They are the one. What is their task? Of course, they provide immediate and appropriate emergency assistance during pandemic. So, as I told you, yan yung mga initial task nila. Okay? During pandemic, ngayon yun. We have cases of COVID cases right now. Okay? And they work closely with the national and local government to implement necessary programs and standards, as well as disseminate protocols, okay, and updates to their designated households. And then we also have the RDRMO, which means Municipal Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office. So, ano nga ba yung primary objective nitong MDRRM na to? Their primary objective is to ensure that effective and efficient implementation of civil protection, okay, from a military attack and natural disaster program through an integrated, multi-sectoral and community-based approach and strategies for the protection and preservation of life, property, and environment. So, kapag sinabi nating civil protection, it is an effort to protect the citizens of a state, okay, from a natural disaster. And also, kasama na rin dito, okay, as you can see, may mga ambulansya dyan, okay. This ambulance is the one taking the patient to the nearest medical facilities. And then, we also have the BFP, the Bureau of Fire Protection, which is responsible for ensuring the safety of the public through prevention of, syempre alam natin, prevention and suppression of fire or from the destructive fires on buildings, houses, pwedeng on the forests, and land transportation vehicles and equipments. So, yun. We also have the PNP. So, PNP, they reinforce or enforce the law. They control the crimes, maintain peace and order, and ensure public safety and internal security with the support of the community. Okay, so sila yung mga nagme-maintain ng peace and order, and of course, they prevent crimes and bring offenders to justice. Another, we have the community hospital or rural health unit. So, itong community hospitals, okay, these are the primary hospitals in the community who are responsible for emergency care. Okay? Katulad niyan sa RHU for emergency care, but of course, limited lang yung care na pwede nilang ibigay because for those complicated or complex cases, it must be referred to a tertiary hospital. Ano lang ang binibigay ng katulad niyan ng rural health unit? They provide basic health services such as maternal and child health, communicable disease, and of course, the control of yung mga communicable diseases and illnesses. Dental issues as well. So, yan. And then, we also have, in the community, we have the private clinic, hospital, and school clinic. Okay, so when we say private clinic, dito na dinadala yung mga patients who can afford or who can pay. They usually go to a private clinic. So, I know you already know what are those private clinic here in our community. You are already familiar with it. Okay? And then, we have the community hospital. Okay? This community hospital are the one responsible for emergency care, more complicated as I told you, more complicated cases can be referred to a tertiary hospital, while the school clinic, okay, lahat ng school, meron tayong school clinic, okay, it is a place within a school campus who rendered care to a sick patient. Okay? Pero syempre, hindi naman dadalhin dun yung sick patient. Usually, kunyari kapag may bata, di ba, we are no longer advising them to come. But of course, ang sasabihin na natin, once they are sick, no need for them to come to school. So, bukod sa, pero bukod sa pag-render ng care, usually, yung mga first aid kasi yan, pag sa mga school clinic, yung mga nangangailangan ng mga initial assessment during emergency situation or emergency situations. So, tips. Okay, we have tips here during emergency or procedures for injury or illness. First, we have to assess the situation. So, ano yung i-assess natin? Be sure that, of course, not only the situation wherein safe yung patient mo, but of course, for you as a caregiver, you have to assess if the situation or if the place is safe for you and for the patient. Okay? Ano ang kailangan mong i-consider? Okay? You have to take precaution, baka mamaya merong live electrical wires, or there's a gas leak, building damage, fire or smoke, traffic, or violence. And of course, ano pa? You have to call the person designated to handle the emergency. Okay. So, yan. Ano tatawagan mo? 911. Okay? So, this person, okay, you have to call for help. Okay? This person, yung designated person to handle that emergency will be in charge to render the care and, of course, further first aid needed. Okay, ano pa? Of course, additional resources is also required, especially if there is a presence of a life-threatening emergency. And of course, okay, if the parents or legal guardians cannot be reached, okay, you must, kailangan mo kasing before giving any medicines, you have to notify the parents or the legal guardians. Kapag wala naman, okay, you can inform the physician or the hospital designated on the student's emergency medical information card. Para alam din nila kung ano yung i-expect dun sa na-injured na estudyante. If there's any necessary things that they have to arrange, such as transportation of the injured students. Okay? Ano pa? So, ito. Do not give medication unless, okay, there has been a prior approval by the parents or guardian. So, dito na papasok yung following the district medication policy. Kasi, syempre, tayong mga tao, we have different religion, we have different culture, and some people might think that, ayaw nila itong medication na to because of their religion. So, we have to respect that. We cannot give any medication without their consent. And then, do not move a severely injured person. Okay? Hindi mo siya pwedeng galawin. Only those nasa medical practitioners should be the one doing that because there's a probability that sa pagtulong mo sa kanya or when you move the patient, then the more that she will have neck and back injuries. Kasi kapag minumove ang isang patient, injured patient, especially if there is an injury on the neck or on the back, it should be as a whole. Okay? Not by part. Kasi baka mas lalo siyang ma-injured. Okay, so for the review, dahil yun lang naman yung topic natin, the available resources in the community or the school, as a review. So, ano nga ba yung mga available resources natin in case of emergency or injury? So, in school, we have the first aid kit and the school or clinic. While in the community, it was enumerated already here. We have the Barangay Health Emergency Response Team. We have the MRRMO, DFP, PNP, RHU, Government Community Hospital, Private Clinic Hospital, and the quarantine facility. So, this one, I want you to answer this, okay? I will read it to you, and then you will answer this one, okay? Including reflection, which you will be submitting to me online. Pwede niyo sa akin submit online, or ibigay niyo na rin sa akin yung hard copy, okay? First question, which of the following is not a recommended action for emergency preparedness? We have letter A, creating a family emergency plan. B, stockpiling of medicine and antibiotics. C, become knowledgeable about types of potential emergencies and response. D, getting an emergency supplies kit. Next, how often you practice your family emergency plan? So, gaano kadalas? Is it once a year? Every 6 months? Every 3 months, or only during an emergency? Well, o kaya pinapractice mo ba kaya? Next, if you need to call 911 in an emergency, what should you tell the dispatcher? A, describe the emergency. B, give your name and the telephone number of the phone you are using to make the call. C, give the exact address where the emergency occurred. Or D, all of the above. Actually, konti lang naman ito. Ito lang siya. Next, we have which healthcare provider are you likely to find in the hospital emergency department? Sino kaya? Usually, yung makikita nyo in an emergency department. A, you have the emergency nurse. B, paramedics. C, emergency doctor, or all of the above. Next, in which cases should you call an ambulance instead of driving to the hospital ER? A, the injury or condition is life-threatening. Or is it B, the injury or condition could become life-threatening on the way to the hospital? C, the route to the hospital is long or congested? Or D, all of the above. Next, which of these should your home first aid kit include? So, ano kaya ang dapat na nasa first aid kit ninyo? Is it hydrogen peroxide, calamine lotion, aspirin, or all of the above? And the last one, the following are key to an effective emergency response. A, surveillance. B, epidemiology. C, situational awareness, or D, all of the above. Okay, so ito na. Now, I want you to make a reflection. Or sabihin natin that once you were in an emergency, it is an application. Ano yung ginawa ninyo or ano yung gagawin kaya ninyo? Okay? So, here is your guide in doing that reflection. First, how do you deal with emergency situation in school and community? Ano kaya? And then, what should you do when injuries and emergency situation happen? So, I want you to answer that. Okay? Okay, thank you. I just hope that you were able to grasp that simple lesson that I made. Thank you.